G2, of course, you would remember has a trajectory that goes back to Obama days. It was there that Brzezinski, the former national security advisor, had used this term, saying that America and China can work together in global governance. And at that point in time, it was an all-encompassing relationship. That maybe America can take care of this part of the world and China can take care of that part of the world, Pacific and Atlantic, and that's how we can divide our responsibilities. Along those lines, an argument was made in American circles under the initial years of President Obama, but it died a natural death because the fundamental realities of U.S.-China relationship, pushed their way through, and the structural confrontation that started building up since then has now reached almost its zenith. So I don't see the possibility of the two sides coming to some sort of a broader rapprochement. But what Mr. Trump certainly wanted, that he wanted to halt the downslide in the economic relationship. So my sense is that when he talks of G2, without thinking, he's largely looking at it from an economic frame of reference. That I have now had a meeting with Xi Jinping. He has agreed to loosen the rare earth restrictions, and I have agreed to lower the tariffs. So we are now in a space where we can talk about economic matters in a sane manner. But if you see what also happened alongside, because this was part of his Asia trip. There was ASEAN visit, there was Japan visit, there was Korea visit. And of course, then after that came the APEC meeting where even our defense minister went, which was the defense minister's meeting. Now, there the tone was completely different because there the tone was more about strategic and security matters. So if you recall what Trump said to ASEAN members, that I'm here to stay, that America is here to stay. We will stay with you. We are your friends. We want to build this relationship. He gave some trade concessions to Cambodia and Thailand for making him happy about the Nobel Prize. But I think largely the tone was a continuation of the Biden era. That Japan, he went to Japan where he said this is the most important commitment that America has. And he built on the relationship. And then, of course, you had this Korea visit and then the China visit. So what I'm saying is that there seems to be two parallel tracks going on. On economic matters, he's saying that, look, I am willing to sit with you, develop this G2. On the security side, strategic side, the relationship continues to be as challenging as ever. And with the Secretary of War, Pete Hegseth, also making his comments very, very strong. And of course, they're revising or continuing with the 10-year framework with India, India-US defense framework.
Yeah, I'll be coming to that. But with China and America, there is... The base is that competitive confrontation, which will always be there, right? And when you talk about two parallel tracks, this is how the great power rivalry is shaping it. This is how the global order is shifting. And also, with China, do you think there was some kind of a strategic compromise? He ceded more ground than he gained. He was more keen to do that rather than China.
I think he did. And by all accounts, and because China has that kind of leverage, particularly when it comes to rare earth and critical minerals, which is unparalleled in the world today. And that leverage they very wisely exploited in their negotiations with the Americans. So it came off as something that that perhaps from a perception point of view, Americans, Trump was ceding more, and China was ceding less. But I do think that the Chinese also wanted this because the economic challenges in China are there. They need sustained, predictable market in the US, which is a big market, important market, recognizing that this is going to be challenging, recognizing that there is actually there is no political capital for China in the US. If you forget Trump, if you look at even at his advisors, whether it is Mr. Hegseth, whether it is Marco Rubio, whether it is the economic advisors, or if you look at the US Congress, there is a very strong anti-China sentiment in the country. So while Mr. Trump can talk and sit and talk of this G2, there is actually no base to sustain it. So Chinese also know it. And I think for them it was, to get a deal even if it is short term, I think it helps them in more ways than one. But of course, the play here is that Mr. Trump had to cede the ground because Chinese were not willing to relent.